very good morning and welcome to the morning session. Nidhi, really looking forward to hearing from you as well. Nidhi is a co-speaker as far as this session is concerned. And we're going to be talking about how do we create spaces where we can bring gender and generations together. Just to give you a brief background about myself, before I get into the topic. We run a community of women leaders, which we've been running for the past 4 years. And we're going to deep dive into some of our learnings, which has a bearing on the kind of topic that we are touching upon today. I'm also a design thinking practitioner, and I have done extensive work in the area of leadership assessment and development. The reason why I'm saying this and sharing this with all three of you is that I'm going to be leveraging the learnings from each of these three areas that I worked in for the past 22 years of my career. The other thing which was going on in my mind was, why did this topic really call out to me when I was going through the list of topics that we had at WEF? And some of it was really related to the kind of work and the shifts that we are seeing at a societal level as well as a corporate level. At a societal level, right now Abby and I got talking about the work she's doing at the university, and she was sharing how the ethnic mix of the kind of students that she deals with is shifting. And if we see from an ethnographic perspective, our whole societal construct is going through a shift, which has a bearing on the way we approach gender and the way we approach generations, and how do we come up with strategies related to these. It will significantly impact that. For example, there was a recent research which was done in London. Can you guess the number of nationalities that London as a city has? Any guesses? What would be the number of nationalities that London has? Take a while to guess.
5, 6.
5, 6? Okay.
25.
25? Abhi done 35?
Thanks.
Okay. Abhi, any guesses?
I'm guessing in the 30s as well.
170.
170.
Wow.
And we were doing work in Dubai recently, and imagine the kind of proportion that the local ethnic population now has in Dubai. Take a guess. 20%. So these are some numbers which are extremely revealing about how the societal construct is changing, right? And we are moving towards what Wojtowicz, who's a visiting professor in New York University, says is super diversity. So it is not really about understanding gender at a societal level or at a regional level. It is not going to be about understanding generations at a societal or regional level. But it is really now going to be about understanding gender and generations within the particular ethnic groups which now are making up societies and cities. Right? So that is the first paradigm shift which is happening. So we're really going to be talking about, if I'm talking about local migrant population to Amsterdam from Turkey, what is happening within that domain when we look at gender and when we look at generations. And there are very, very interesting trends and studies which are available regarding the same. The other part is now let's take it to, let's say, an educational context or a corporate context. When we go deeper into it, and today if we are at least seeing the global trends, 50% of the workforce at the frontline level is women, right? When we look at it from a gender level. And this ratio goes down to 18 to 20%. That's where the global average is at when we look at women in senior leadership level. If you look at the generational mix, that is where interesting shifts are happening. I'm sure all of us are aware about the increasing percentage of millennials in the workforce, right? So today, if you look at the global workforce, there are 77 million millennials in the workforce, right? This is slightly more than the number of baby boomers, which are at about 75 million. And Gen Xers are actually at 66 million. So you would assume that Gen X is the next level of leadership, but that's not. The shift is happening from baby boomers to actually millennials. And why is it important to understand this? Is because millennials have a very different mindset towards various aspects, including gender, right? Now, if we look at millennials, their attitude towards work-life balance, towards equal rights, towards pay transparency, towards meaningful career, are very similar to what we as women are talking about as an optimal scenario that we want to see within the corporate India setup. The other interesting trends are, there is a Nielsen report which says that 44% of millennial women now include and involve their spouses in housework, as compared to 29% of baby boomers, right? So the millennials, and even within millennials, there are shifts happening within genders, right? How men are approaching gender equations at work and how women are approaching gender equations at home. And that is really what is going to set the pace and the trend of how we study gender and generations within the corporate setup. Does that make sense? I mean, is that in sync with the kind of shifts that each one of you are observing in the organizations that you're working with?
In Italy, not so much.
Not so much yet? Okay.
It's early for us, maybe in 10 years this will happen, but not now.
But not now. But that is really what the trend is moving towards, And the reason why I'm saying this, because if we go back to our learnings from this women leaders community that we run, we have leaders who are probably spanning different generations, right, from baby boomers to Gen X to the millennials, right? And when we do coaching conversations with the young millennial women leaders, their aspirations, their clarity about where they want to be in terms of their career and growth, there's so much clarity and will there that we perhaps would not witness, when we were talking about the Gen X and the baby boomers. So baby boomers were at a certain level, the shift happened with the Gen X, but that shift has sort of got accelerated as we look at the millennials, right? So that shift is definitely going to happen in one way or the other. Even in India, we see different organizations and the societal classes at different levels of maturity, but somewhere that trend is picking up across societal classes. The other important aspect is for millennials, equality, as I said, is far more important as compared to what it was for Gen X and baby boomers, right? And that itself, again, is changing the gender equations within organizations. If I was to reflect on the kind of work that we have been doing, there are three philosophies and processes which have worked very well for us in terms of creating those spaces, or shall I call it safe spaces, where people from different genders and different generations can come together and have meaningful, effective conversations. The first one that I would like to touch upon is design thinking. Are all of you aware about design thinking as a process? Abby? No?
Not me either.
Not you either? Avida nodded her head. Avida, would you like to sort of share your understanding about design thinking, and I can add on to it?
Can you explain what you mean by design thinking?
I will do that. So I just wanted to hear her out.
Alright,
And then I will.
so I did an entrepreneurship course in school, and they taught us about design thinking. And it's a process that we go through in solving problems.
Right.
So yeah, there I think 5 steps. Finding the problem. I've forgotten the steps, but yeah, it's steps to guide us to in implementation of maybe a problem in the community or something. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think the important takeaway is that design thinking is a problem-solving and collaboration tool, which has the ability to cut across gender and generations within organizations. It is a framework, which has 5 stages, as Abida mentioned. So it starts with empathy, which is saying that if there is a particular journey that needs to be traveled, right, irrespective of the context that you are in, can we really go deeper into understanding the concerned stakeholders better, right? So that is what empathy is. The second stage is define, which is you have a starting point when you get into a design thinking process. So for example, for Abby, it could be designing a strategy through which the needs of the different ethnic minorities that the university deals with get adequately represented without impacting meritocracy. I think that's the important shift that we are talking about. For your organization, it could be really about scaling up to the next level or building an effective leadership team, right? In your case, we didn't get a chance to exchange notes on your role, but there's an aspiration that each one of us is working towards as a leader, right? So if we take that as the starting point, once we empathize and we understand our stakeholders in greater detail, we define the problem statement, right? So that's the next stage, which is define, which is what is it, which part of my challenge am I really going to address first in a given scenario. We then come to ideation, which is brainstorming around possible solutions. The fourth stage is prototyping, wherein you are looking at creating prototypes, physical prototypes or digital prototypes, or a kind of solution that you believe would really be helpful. And then you get into a testing and refinement stage, which is the fifth stage, right? So this is the 5-stage process, but it is not a flow. You could be shifting from ideation back to empathy while you are doing a design sprint, right? Or you could be shifting from testing back to looking at your problem statement, which is defined, while you are doing a design sprint. So it's not a one-way flow. It is, think of it as a circular process wherein we can be shifting from one stage to another without any sense of, moving in the particular direction while we are trying to solve the problem. So just to give you an example, there was a recent sprint that we did as part of LaboWorks, which is the design thinking firm that I'm a part of. And this was for Uber Tech, right? So Uber has a technical division in India which handles their global technical R&D. And their agenda was to develop and finalize what their D&I initiatives would look like. There were a lot of employee resource groups that they already had running, but they felt they were not very successful. And therefore the whole process of design sprint actually helped them narrow down on which target segments they would like to focus on and what are the 3 or 4 core solutions that they would want to work on in order to make sure that they're able to create an equal opportunity workplace for the employees that they're working with. What is the differentiating factor? Where does the creativity come into the picture when we talk about design thinking? It is right at the first stage, which is empathy, right? Do you know that, have you heard of Vint Cerf, who's called the father of the internet?
Berners-Lee?
Sorry?
Berners-Lee.
No, this is Vint Cerf. Vint Cerf is called the father of the internet because he was the first one to think of a possibility of having a virtual system which can actually support the daily activities, right? He's also the one who has actually developed the code and the programming that is used for emails. Do you know what made him do this? It was to support his wife, who was deaf. And he realized that the only way of really communicating effectively while he was away with his wife was to have this kind of a messaging system to bring in that clarity in communication. The first typewriter was invented by Pellegrino Turri in order to exchange and communicate with his lover, the Countess, who was blind.
Can you repeat the name of the
Windsurf,
Windsor?
Wintcerf. So a lot of the innovations have actually been done in order to address the needs of what we call as extreme users, right? And therefore, when we go into a problem solution mode, right at the empathy stage, rather than looking at just who a normal user would be, for my product or service, we tend to look at extreme users to really get insights and clarity about the right kind of solutioning that I could be working on. So we gave you an example of physical handicap, right? For this DNI sprint that we were doing, we actually involved people who said that there's no need for a formal intervention on DNI or a formal strategy. It should be a way of life. And this was a millennial who believed that we are growing up in an equal society, and therefore the organization should just naturally follow that philosophy. And we got the best ideas from her, right? So these are the extreme users that we are really talking about, which gives us scope for creativity and really looking at a problem statement from a fresh lens. The second element that I wanted to talk about was gamification. It is something that is increasingly being used across spaces. And how did we see the power of gamification? We were doing a leadership assessment exercise in the Gulf, right, Middle East. And I'm sure all of you who have worked in that region would agree that the Middle East is considered to be an extremely orthodox and traditional society, where men and women really don't mingle with each other. When we designed the leadership assessment framework, we said for really studying the ability of the leader to handle interpersonal dynamics, can we use games instead of group discussions? And then all sort of questions came up. How will the women in the group take it? Will they be comfortable playing games? How will they play games in the burqa? How will they really interact with male members in that group? And would you believe it? When it actually came down to playing the game, all these women took lead. Right to the point of supporting and holding hands of their male team members while they were completing the game, to being in their leggings under the burqa because they did not want to be left behind when the game was being played. They just jumped into the game, and that was a revelation for us. How a game was able to break what the gender boundaries that we perceive are existing in societies. So gamification is a very, very powerful way and a creative way of bringing together genders and generations. Right? The third element that we wanted to talk about was this whole community building. As millennials are coming into the picture, their focus on community, on collaboration is increasing. They are okay helping people stay connected to their individual priorities and perspectives, and really bringing that diversity of thought and opinion into a particular situation. If we want to take this trend forward, right, communities within corporates, outside corporates, have been extremely powerful levers for driving change. Why are we saying there's need for creativity? Because each of these communities could have people from different generations. How do you get creative in terms of addressing needs of these different generations is where the creative element comes in. So for example, Women Lead, Abby, I shared the card with you. We have people who are CXO level leaders right now. We have entrepreneurs, we have professionals, and we have millennial leaders, right, as part of this group. Millennial leaders, if they want to meet up, they really don't want to talk about work, right? So a lot of time when we try to organize learning sessions for them, they've got no interest. But if I say we're meeting at a pub for a glass of beer, that's what gets them excited. On the other hand, if we are talking to Gen Xers or baby boomers, we need to have one-on-one conversations with them. Those work better, right? And that has to be linked to the professional journey that they are currently on. Therefore, how do you run a community? How do you make it work? Actually is where the creative element comes into the picture. It's not just about creating the room, and one strategy does not work for the different generations which could be part of your community. So just to recap, our society is changing. The gender and generation equations are becoming interconnected. The boundaries are also blurring because there is smooth information flow between them. But at the same time, design thinking as a space has been extremely powerful in our experience. Gamification has been an extremely powerful tool which can cut across gender and generations. And thirdly, communities, when run in a thought-out manner, recognizing the need of the different generations that are part of it, and us coming up with solutions which can handle and address those different needs, can be a very, very powerful change lever. Thank you so much. I hope this is useful. And we listen to Nidhi now. I thought you'd give us more time because we're one speaker short. Short time. Why were you sleepy all? Sorry for putting you in spot.
Okay, good morning everyone. Before I start, of course, quick introductions are needed. So I am Nidhi. I am co-founder of Silver Talkies. I'm based out of Bangalore. My organization was started about 5 years ago. I think this is going to be a very different talk from what Vipashi just presented, because what I want to be speaking about is more around generations, because I work with senior citizens, the older adults, people above the age group of 55. And so I've been doing this for actually over 5 years now. And so what we do at Silver Talkies, we run an online magazine, which is our website, silvertalkies.com, where we write articles and features which would be of use to seniors and their families. And the idea behind Silver Talkies is basically to create a platform where we can engage seniors and keep them productively engaged, so that we can promote the whole concept of active aging. So we want to make the retirement all about living a fulfilling life and a happy life. So we want to keep them away from falling sick by keeping them actively engaged. So my talk is actually going to be more about my learnings in those last years working with seniors, and how they have surprised me, and the learnings that I have had on how we can cross bridges between generations, connecting the old with the new. I would just like you to, before I start, just visualize, if you are walking down in the neighborhood in a park, what is usually the scene that you see? Do you remember, seeing benches occupied, say, by elderly women, maybe chatting over a TV serial, or talking about the domestic issues? And typically that's the kind of conversation that you would eavesdrop on when you see the older women around sitting together in a group, right? Crossover, and you would probably find a group of men discussing politics or a game of cricket. That's typically the scenario here in India. I'm sure you may have similar pictures in your respective countries as well. But then it's like these are gender exclusive conversations which happen. The women are together, the men are together, right? There is not really much interaction happening between the two. So I think that's where we have been at Silver Talkies, trying to break that barrier, trying to bring the genders together, and in that, during the course of our work, even try to bring in generations together. Now, how many of you here actually have seniors at home or close by that you kind of mingle with? Okay, I think it's, yeah, okay. So, and how many times have you really heard them cribbing about how we, the younger generation, really don't have time even for a conversation? We really don't have time to spend, sit down with them and have a meaningful conversation. Have you heard them complaining or cribbing?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a very practical challenge that all of us face, where we are trying to multitask, be for ourselves, be for our children, but then we are expected to be also for our parents, right? But I think that multitasking gets really challenging, and it's very difficult to make it happen. So even I am a culprit. Even though I work with seniors, I think I don't spend enough time with my parents either, right? So it's very difficult. But the reality is, while this is the practical aspect of our living today, the reality is that the stats tell us that we are actually moving towards a society that would be aging very soon. We are already on that path, and that's not just in India, but across nations. So Japan, Germany are already facing that situation where they have a large population of people above the age of 70. And we would be soon moving there, where 20% of Indian population would be seniors, people above the age of 60. This would be probably in next 3-4 decades. And we do all know about how longevity is a reality now. People are living longer, right? And how joint families are disbanding, nuclear families are mushrooming, right? So these are realities of today. Now, while this is the aspect of seniors, I just wanted to bring about, a personal experience that I have had. I am a single, child of a single, I have a mother of a single child. She's 10-year-old, and while thankfully she is a voracious reader and has books for company, but I often find her coming up to me and complaining that, Mama, I don't have friends to play with. I'm pretty much all by myself all the time. And given the kind of schedules that even kids keep today, right, with all their classes and extracurricular activities, she finds herself really alone. And I have found her really happy and active when her grandparents are around, when they come visiting us from Chennai. So much so, when I was coming to Delhi now from Bangalore, she wanted to come along because she knew being with my parents would be more fun than being alone at home with her father in Bangalore, right? She knew she would be pampered, she would be well taken care of, right? So if you see the connect, right, the need for connection is across generations, not just the old asking for it, but even the youngsters, our own children, need that kind of company and support coming from their grandparents. So the need is definitely there across generations. So I would quickly touch upon some of the learnings that I have had while working with seniors in my area of work. I think the biggest learning, which came as a huge surprise to me when I started out, that seniors are very, very excited lot. They like to learn new things. They are, the assumption that that they are retired and out is really a misnomer. It's a misconception and the biggest myth ever. So when we started out, we organize a lot of events and workshops for seniors, as I said, to keep them actively engaged. And when we started out, we thought, okay, maybe just awareness talks or doing some basic skill building workshops or hobby workshops is going to be good enough. But today, the kind of activities that we do for them, I'm very proud to say that, the kind of roster that we have for them now is really mind-blowing. So I have seen them having a hearty time at a ballroom dance workshop, which is very unheard of in the Indian context, right? Having a really hearty time at ballroom dance, at theatre workshops, at storytelling. They have a lot of fun, drum jamming, dancing, singing, right? So it's really a misnomer that seniors really don't enjoy this. In Bangalore, I have seen seniors being very experimental, very outgoing. They like to mingle, they like to meet new people. So when I was thinking on how we can connect generations through what can be the creative ways, I think it's a great idea to find, avenues to get youngsters and the older generation together. Now, enrolling seniors for hobby workshops is something which we haven't done, but it may be a great idea. So encouraging our own third generation to organize summer camps, how we do for the younger ones, it can be a great way to get the two coming across the table and one teaching the other, right? Now, chronicling family histories either through journals or blogs or books is something which is a great way of bringing a family together. It can be a family project led by the third generation and, talking, having an interaction with the grandparents to get those stories out of the yesteryears, right? So there can be many exciting ways of bringing the two generations together there. The other learning has been that, we assume that seniors cannot take on to technology. They are very technology backwards. But no, you give them a chance, you spend some time with them. Yes, it requires a little bit more patience because they tend to forget and it's a little difficult for them to kind of pick it up. Maybe they're not as quick as the youngsters are, but they are more than willing to learn, more than willing. I have been traveling in metros in Bangalore and in Delhi, and even I've seen my mom. She, before she goes to bed, I would see her watching some YouTube videos. Either it's a spiritual video or a cooking video, right? But she does spend her time. That's how she usually. That's her way of unwinding, right? So the acceptance of technology is very high among seniors. So getting, again, the tech-savvy youngsters to conduct crash courses or to conduct classes for seniors in the neighborhood or just at home, whether you kind of hand it out as a chore to them to accomplish or you incentivize them for doing a task like this, that's entirely up to us. But it can be a smart way of getting the seniors up to speed and getting the younger generation involved in their well-being, right? And the other thing has been that I feel that seniors are actually very easy to please. A little bit of respect, a little bit of kind word, and a little bit of attention is all you need to keep them happy. Sometimes, they come back, saying such good things about the work that we do that even I'm surprised thinking, okay, what did we really do there? That, they have such beautiful things and blessings to give. So it may be an ideal way to, gather all those blessings that we can today. And the other major area where we get a lot of inquiries from seniors is around looking for job opportunities. There are a lot of seniors out there. Of course, 60 is not the age to retire today. They're all healthy and mobile and independent, right? And who doesn't want financial independence, to continue? So we actually have a lot of seniors who reach out to us through our forums, asking us if we can facilitate any job opportunities for them, whether part-time or full-time. So, at your workplaces, if you have opportunities that are age appropriate, where you can actually hire senior citizens, because not only will they bring you the wisdom and the knowledge from their experiences, but also they could be cheaper on your pockets because they are not expecting the similar salary levels as what a youngster MBA graduate today would ask you for. But they can be a smart way of bringing in a stability in your workforce as well, right? So hiring them, rehiring them is one way to get the generations together again. Now my last point is probably going to be a very radical thought here given in the Indian societal context, something which we haven't been doing so actively. But the second most asked for, I would say a service from us which we haven't been able to get to is looking for companionship. It's mind-blowing the number of inquiries we get from men and women, largely men though, but yeah, women too, looking for new partners. These are, either widows or widowers or divorcees who have been staying alone from their families, children are busy, they don't really have somebody to keep them company. They write to us asking, can you help us find new partners? We would like to spend our life with someone, right? Now there have been few and unorganized efforts around. There are smaller or small or NGOs and stuff who have been trying to do this. But I think the acceptance at a society level and a shift in mindset is a huge need today. In fact, even the women of the older generation need to be more willing and forthcoming because men are willing, but the women, I think, because of the societal stigma and the thoughts that they have, they hold themselves back. Right? So we need to somehow find a way to basically bring them together and be more open as individuals. If there is a senior in our family who can actually benefit from company, then why not? There are many successful examples out there of senior couples who have actually gotten remarried in much later ages of their life, and they are very happy together, right? So these have been, the biggest learnings. Yes, there are many more. I have seen many entrepreneurs who have come up in their second stages of life. People who have had, say for example, full-fledged banking careers and then they retired. And now that lady, her interest was in knitting and she has picked up knitting as her, as the hobby has converted into a career for her. She sells at exhibitions so well, and she is so innovative with her designs and ideas, and she's fully supported by her daughters. The daughters are the ones who encourage her with the designs, find new designs for her. They are the models for her products. They help her with her Facebook page. So there are so many possibilities out there where the younger and the older generation can come together. And as society as a large, we can really benefit from that, right? So since we had limited time, I just touching upon the broad ideas, but then there are so many other examples out there of how there can be, say, orphanages coming together with the elderly homes, where it's one organization, one which is running an orphanage and an elderly home together. So there is a lot of leveraging which can happen from each other's experiences, right? They have each other's companies, they have each other's ideas, and growing up together, kind of a thing. So there are a lot of possibilities out there, and I think where I come from, we have been facilitating events and ideas where our seniors clubs see a lot of both male and female membership, and we have been organizing events where we can actually get youngsters to come and interact with the seniors. We organize workshops which are conducted by seniors, right? Because they are very willing to share what they have learned or what they are good at. We all know they're very fond of talking and sharing, right? So we do organize workshops by seniors as well. So yeah, so in a nutshell, I think again it's more of the idea of my talking today was there is a lot of possibility in bringing together genders and generations specifically, and I think the way we are moving as a society with the nuclear families and everything having silo homes kind of a thing, I think there's a lot more merit in finding ways to bringing it back to being a more cohesive, society and a cohesive way of living. So thank you so much. I hope it made sense. So my experience is probably going to be very different in this room from everybody else's, but thank you so much.